there, and welcome to Cecilia's Art. Now, on my last video, I showed you how to get this palette together. It's a wet palette. It has been 24 hours since I made it, and I haven't used it yet. The paper towels are still wet. The paint is still fresh. You see? And all it is because, of course, I have wet paper towel here, a layer of wax paper, and my paints, and my spritzy of water. So today I'm gonna show you how I paint one of these. This is just an abstract on paper. And it comes out pretty cute. So we're going to start with plain cardstock, which is right here. And I used a layer of gesso on this one because I like to tape it down to give me a good border, like this right here. Unfortunately, I don't know if you could tell right there, it tore up when I was pulling the tape. Paper tore up because it was straight on the paper. So this time I went ahead and put a coat of gesso on top of my paper, more like to protect the edge. And the way I do it is I cut my paper, I think my paper was like 11 by 17, so I cut it 11 by 11 to make it even square, and I wanted about an inch border, so I used my painter's tape to cover an inch of the edge of the paper right here, right on the edge. Put the tape right on the edge, and that covers about an inch off the edge of the paper, and then another strip of tape to tape it down to my table. Now this will keep my paper in place so it doesn't move around for the camera, mostly for the camera. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. You could just use the tape on the ends. But it's good to tape it too. When you're working with paper, it's good to tape it down to your surface because it will help the paper lay flat. When you put any kind of moisture on paper, you know, it bubbles up, it warps and everything. And the gesso on top should help. So pretty much what I do is just start painting, and it's pretty easy. I'm going to start with a long cheap brush. This is a number 4 flat, and I like to start with a light color. So I'm going to start with yellow. I'm trying to learn how to edit, and I found that the editing program that I have on my computer has actually gotten simpler to use with the, you know, your regular computer updates. So I discovered how to turn the video upside down, which one of the videos that I had done was upside down, and I didn't know. Thought I was just gonna have to scrap it and start again, and then I figured out how to turn it right side up, and that was the video. I believe that was the video on the ink painting. All right, so I put a lot of yellow, mostly, you know, this is how I started doing it. I've been watching videos after videos after videos on how to do these, what you call them, just instinctive abstracts. Yeah. And it doesn't come up right for me. I've tried to do it step by step, just like they were doing it. You know, start off with the mark makings and all that, and it would just come out looking terrible. So finally I decided, you know, with all that practice, I may not have come up with something that looks like theirs, but I'm starting to come up with things that look like mine. So I gave up trying to copy everything the way someone else doing it, but still use their techniques, if you understand what I'm talking about. It's good to learn from different people. Learn the same thing from different people. You will learn different techniques and eventually use them yourself in totally different matter. So what I'm using here is a light yellow, a light pink, and a hot pink. And I'm just covering up this paper, pretty much. That's it. I'm just covering up the paper, keeping it warm colors so I don't make mud. Okay. There we go. All covered up. A little bit more yellow here. It's going to give me that peachy orange color. I'm just kind of scrubbing it in. And the paint goes on so much better when the paper is gessoed. Which I could do this on a canvas, but I just don't feel like having the expenditure of a canvas. And for the video's sake, I wanted something small and something I could play with. Now, if I come up with something I think is brilliant, I might try to duplicate it on a canvas, on a large canvas. For some reason, abstract paintings look much better on a large piece. Alright, so I got the pinks and the yellows. Now I'm going to do something on the other side of the spectrum, a little bit of blue. Now I have this electric blue here, royal blue if you want to call it. But I'm going to lighten it up with some white. Ooh, I got a little bug flying around. What is that? Don't you land on my painting. Shoo. Okay, so I have a light blue here, but it's kind of a dull light blue. So I'm going to add a little bit of this blue. Well, that's a little more interesting. With a tiny bit of green in there. And maybe some darker blue. And let's see what this happens. Okay, that's coming out kind of gray. Now this brush is a cheap brush. See how it makes lines? That's okay. I don't mind it. If I wanted a smoother section, I could just do with my finger. Right there. And just smudge it in. In fact, I kind of like that look. This is the fun part of painting abstract. You just do it. Feels good. I'll go back with this other light blue right here. And I'm just putting color down and trying not to make mud. You make mud by combining all the colors together. In theory, with the color wheel, it's supposed to make black, but it really doesn't make black. It just kind of muddy look. So I'm going to continue to use this blue in some areas because I like this blue. And it looks pretty good. That. And don't be afraid to stick your fingers in there. Like so. Give it some texture. Or you could even squirt a little bit of water and dry. And by doing that, you cause these white little freckles all over. And all it is the paper towel picking up the water with the paint along with it. There, and you got more texture. Isn't that cool? Now this blue is starting to really look green, so I'm going to pick up some more of this royal blue, straight up royal. And let's see where we're going to put it, right here. Now I like the way this is looking. Just dragging. This is very sheer. The paints I'm using are pretty cheap paints. They're not your top notch. The more money you spend on paint, the better the qualities are. You're going to have more pigment. And they're not going to be as translucent. But for this, I don't care. So we're going to continue with some more blue. I want this blue to be a bit darker. And you probably say, why this line? I don't know. I just like that line. I do. And I might go a little bit like this underneath it and dip my brush in some gel, which is just right here. Yeah, glaze. Couldn't think of what the name of it was. Glaze. And it's kind of pulling things down a little bit and just causing, I like these lines. Here I'm using my brush as a tool for marking. It's coming up pretty good. I like that. I'm going to go smaller. Just to keep this. And that fly is coming around. Why are you here? Go. I don't know if you can see that, but it's, ugh. I'll have to kill it. Alright, so far I kind of like that. I'm going to go back with some yellow and just kind of give it some more color here. You see what I'm doing here? I have no clue what this is going to turn out to be. But I like the effect this is giving me. So I'm going to continue doing it. Then eventually I might not like it at all and just scrap it and start again. That's just how it is, right? Right. So let's see. How about some purple? I have here some lavender. And I'm thinking of maybe doing some lavender here. This brush is really more like scraping the top than anything else. I'm gonna have to switch brushes. Alright, back you go in the water. Let's see if I can find a softer brush. Aha. I'm gonna go with a big brush. This is what I like. I call a watercolor brush. It's a round brush. It's great for watercolor, but in an abstract, it doesn't matter. You use what you have. So, yeah, see? Paint goes on thicker with this one, and it's actually covering it up. And I'm gonna maybe put some of this down here. And go up. Trying to get that. just push this down a little bit too. There we go. Now when the paint is still remotely wet, you take something and just scratch it. And there. Now here I'm scratching. You're probably not going to see the scratches as much because the paint has dried a lot, but still it's going to cause a groove. So when you come back with it, it will give you some kind of texture. All right, I like this purple. I'm getting a little bit too sheer with it. Don't want to mix too much. Here we go. Cover up more purple right here. And got purple here, purple here. We'll put some up here on the top. Purple on the top. Then I'm going to add some hot pink to this purple. And that's going to give me a little more emphasis, some oomph right here too. I'm just making like strokes and some more hot pink maybe here in the middle. Now I said the paints I'm using are pretty cheap paints. They are, the majority of the paints I'm using are Acrylic by Fine Touch, which is a Hobby Lobby brand. These are marked $6.99. I believe the price has gone up with them to about $8.99, something like that. $8 or $9.99. Everything's gone up in price. One advice though, when you go to Hobby Lobby or any store really, that well, Hobby Lobby doesn't scan their prices at the register. They mark everything, and the cashier has to input that price into the register without scanning, but by using her fingers. All right. So when an item goes up in price, they don't go back to the old items and raise the price up to the current one. They just leave them with their old cheaper sticker on there until they sell out. So when you go and buy something like paint, especially anywhere, look at the prices and make sure that you get the cheapest ones. Now some of them are going to all be the same. Most of the products in the store are all priced the same, but there's a lot of things that are going up in price, and you're going to see 2 or maybe even 3 different price points on them. So just to save yourself a buck or two, you want to look and make sure you're getting the best price on these products. Now red is my favorite color. Reds, hot pinks, warm colors. So I like to put a lot of red in my stuff. You see? There we go. And I'm just making little marks here. Right here. This part right here is looking like a circle of some kind. I'm really liking that look. So I'm gonna keep going with that look here. I'll try to keep my colors separate if I want like a color to really stand out. So clean your brush. You don't have to wash them precisely, but clean them. I like this circle thing going here. It's looking cute. Now I'm kind of painting this a little bit faster than I normally do, mostly for the time's sake of the video. I don't want this thing to drag on forever. Put some lavender in there. Okay. Oh, looks pretty good. And let's see, we need something over here. Got this part looking good. This, a lot of red right here. I'll put some red right here. I kind of like to have a design, something going from one end to the other. In this instance, right here in the middle, maybe to this end there. And you can always like smear it. I like to dip my finger in a little bit of gel and just smear it. Just kind of smooth it out, cause a nice little. Now you see that right there, that's where I scratched it earlier. It didn't show up, but now it's showing up. And I like that effect on it. And I'm going with some of this blue that was still mixing it with this. It's causing kind of a purplish color. Now it's looking icky. Ooh, I don't know. Let's try that again. Some more of that blue there. Now, right now, the picture's looking like it's cut in half. There's a top here and a top there. We need to have more of a flow. So what can I do? What can I do? I think what I'm going to do is extend this circle this way, like so. And this is the hot pink. And I'll have the hot pink, a little bit of the red. What I got? Yellow. I'll brush a little bit and go with the yellow. Can't go wrong with yellow. Yellow brightens everything up. Yellow like the sun. That's giving it more of a direction. The yellow. Might do more yellow here. This is kind of a plain area. And then it definitely has this lavender. There we go. Lavender, and what else it had in there? Oh, it had this light blue, this aqua blue color. Here we go. Now you can see the paint that I put on here is pretty thick, so it's kind of like going up here, and then we have this on the sides that's not that great. So I'm gonna mix some white and maybe, I don't know, it's like, might have to stand up for this and look at it up. Yeah, mixing some white here. I'm kind of slowly just working it in to this. It's funny, I never used to paint like this, but when I saw so many YouTube artists doing this kind of painting, I said, I can do that. I can do it. That looks so easy. And it's not. Really, it isn't. Not at first, because I'm used to drawing things that are real. An abstract painting is drawing something that is not real, that has never existed. It's something that you create. And it seems to be something like really simple to do, but it's not. You know, how many times have you seen an abstract painting and somebody says, or you say it yourself, oh, that my 2-year-old could do better than that, right? Right. Well, you try and do that. You try and see how easy that is. It is not. Maybe it's easier for some people. It hasn't been easy for me. It's like having to unlearn how to art and to start all over again. Like painting with with my fingers. Okay? Never done that before. And I've been painting, I'm 55 years old. I've been painting since I was 13. First time I picked up a painting brush, and it was in oils. So I learned from a very good artist here in my hometown. His name was, I believe his first name was Robert. I think it was Robert Greenwood. He did beautiful, beautiful work. He and his wife owned an artist supply shop here, and he did lessons for kids and adults. And by that time I was pretty good at drawing, and my parents really wanted to, you know, help me grow in that. They saw this talent, they saw that I had talent. They said, you know what, we're gonna help you with this. And so they put me in painting classes, and then, you know, then I was like 13, growing into teenagehood, and I enjoyed painting for a while, and then I kind of forgot about it and didn't do it for a long time because I had some teenaging and young people things to do. Haha. All right, I kind of like this. It's a big old mess. This needs to dry before I can really go on. And so I'm going to blow dry it. And hopefully I can cut this out of the video. But if I don't, sorry. It's going to be, you're going to see me blow dry it. And I'm just using a regular blow dryer. It's an old one. It's not completely dry yet, but it's dry enough where I can do something without it totally moving around. Now the next thing I'm going to do is a cheat. And by cheat, really there's no cheating in art. I use a stencil. So this I find is really like, I don't know, it's almost like these parts better now than this middle. This is a mess. So I want to tone this down a little bit. And I'm going to use a stencil. This is a lacy stencil. And let's see, I'm going to use, oops. I like using this brush. This is an old kid's brush. Very cheap, but it's nice and flat. It's good for stenciling. And I'm just going to use white and see what happens. And sparingly. I'm not going to coat it solid white. Alright, this is just going to tone this down a little bit, and the paint is not exactly dry yet. It's tacky. It's still a little tacky. So this white paint will most likely pick up some color and give it some shadows. Now when I do a stencil, don't do the whole stencil and make a block. Go diagonally or in spots here and there. Don't go to all the way to the edge to where it looks like you used the stencil, you know, just like this all the way around. I do it like this right here. And because the paint is a little tacky, it helps the stencil stay down too. Now, I still don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what this is going to look like in the end. But there you go. It's a little bit toned down. This circle's still here. So I'm going to put some more right here. Some white. And there are going to be times you're going to go through the painting and say, oh, I really like that. And then, but no. And then you're going to do something else and you say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. The fun thing about these kind of paintings, you can go on forever and just add layer after layer after layer of paint until you finally get something you like. Now I kind of like this background a lot better. So what do I do next? I'm going to use this. Now this is a little, I don't know what you call this thing, but it's the what's left behind of making what's confetti? Yeah, it's the punch left after making confetti. So this I'm going to make something, another color. Let's see, what color can I make? I need to make something that's gonna stand out from the rest. Okay, I'm gonna go with, how about a gray? All right, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of my black paint and mix it with my white paint and make a gray with a little bit of yellow ochre. So it's going to be like a gray ochre. I don't know. It's that color. Huh. Let's see what that looks like. And it's going to go here. Or maybe sideways. Like right there. And what this is going to do, it's going to get rid of some of that happy joy colors. Now do go to the end of the paper with it, just not the end of the stencil, so it doesn't look like you used a stencil kind of thing. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see what this looks like. It's kind of a baby poo color. Yeah, it's a baby poo color. Don't like it. Baby poo. All right, so how am I going to fix that? I'm going to fix it by wetting it a little bit and just picking it up with a paper towel. All right, there. I picked it up. See? It still has a different look from what it looked like before, but oh well. We're gonna try a different color. Let's see, what color should I? Yeah, I should have just stuck with gray, huh? Or just plain old black. Let's try plain old black. I'm determined. Plain old black. There we go. Now this plain old black is mixing with the wet paint underneath. So it's still going to give me a muddy look, but it's not going to be that bird poop color. Let's see. Oh, much better. Yes. Okay, so my thing is I need some balance. So if I'm going to put some of those dots over there, I'm going to want a little bit over here. Now, one thing I've learned in design, well, floral design, which I'm a professional floral designer. You put your biggest flowers on the bottom, your smaller flowers on the top to give it balance. And it's the same really with any art. If you're not sure if you're doing something right, get your smaller stuff on the top, your bigger ones on the bottom. Now this painting does not have a top or a bottom yet. Once I feel like I've gotten somewhere with it, I'm going to take it off the tape and see where I'm at. I might make that the bottom and this the top. So I got some here, some there, and I'm going to put some a little bit over here. And I'm sorry if the table shakes, but I have the camera hooked up to the lamp that's hooked up to the table. And I'll put a little bit here too. I'm trying not to get the table to shake so much. All right, so I'll put some depth in that. Now what else? Okay, I did those stencils. I have some more stencils. Got lots of stencils. Lots and lots. I've got this one that looks like tire tracks or some kind of what you call it, foot print. I think it's more like a footprint. What color should I do? Oh, what about lavender? I think I lost just about all my lavenders in there. So we're going to do a little bit of lavender of this one. And it's going to get muddy over here with this black. And since I have some black, now by now you're probably saying, oh my gosh, Cecilia, that looks terrible. You should have left it the way it was. Yeah. But like I said, you keep going and going until you find something that you like. I don't think it's that terrible, is it? Well, we'll see. Let's see what other things I can throw at it. I got this thing. This is called a plastic canvas. plastic canvases are used to do needlework, needle art. You know those, I guess, tissue holders and paper towel holders that Grandma made and she stitched and put them together? That's what this is. But it also makes a great stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some white paint on here. See right there. Some white paint. And I'm going to stamp this. Let's see how that comes out. Oh, I like that. See, isn't that cool? And I'm going to put some more white paint. This is something that's really fun to make with kids. And believe it or not, kids are probably better at this than adults are, because they haven't been conditioned to do things one way or the other. For example, don't ever tell your kids to color in the lines. Let them color everywhere. Nobody's ever gotten famous from coloring in the lines. I used to teach kids. I used to work at Michael's, and I would teach kids summer camp, and I would teach them how to paint and stuff. And the parents would say, you know, you gotta color in the lines. And well, when they leave, I'd tell them, color wherever you want. Everybody colors in the line. Make sure that yours looks good, whether you color in the line or not. Right? Right. So there's no coloring in the line in my book. And this is some hot pink. No, that's a light pink. I'm going to put some hot pink. I really like this. This came out cute. And I'm just going to put a little bit of pink, like right here in the middle. Why not? And press it. And voila. All right, I got a hodgepodge, mesh podge of things in here. So I'm going to, what do I do now? What should I do now? I need to let it dry. I need to let it dry really good, because I want to go on top of this. I want to go on top with other things, with markers, with and I don't want the paint to like smear around. So I'm going to stop right here, let this baby dry, and next video we're going to finish it. All right? Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.